only woman on Tennessee's death row is asking the courts to reconsider her death sentence. Krista Pike was convicted in 1996. She and two other people tortured and killed 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer.
What makes an 18-year-old girl carve a pentagram into another person's skin? And why would she keep a piece of skull in her pocket like a trophy? January 12, 1995, Knoxville, Tennessee. Two girls walking through the dark near the University of Tennessee steam plant. Krista Pike told her classmate Colleen Slemmer they just needed to talk. Colleen believed her, but Krista had already brought a box cutter. What happened in those woods took 30 minutes. Making sense of it? That might be impossible. But before we get to those 30 minutes, you need to know who walked into those woods that night. 3 teenagers at a place called Knoxville Job Corps Center, a second chance program for kids who needed structure, training, a way out. Krista Pike was 18. She could be charming when she wanted to be. But underneath, she was angry, unstable, haunted by years of abuse and neglect. Her boyfriend, Tadarrell Shipp, was 17, quiet, withdrawn. He liked dark music and drawing occult symbols. Then there was Colleen Slemmer, 19, friendly to everyone. She'd only been at Job Corps for a few months, working to finish high school and dreaming about college. Most people saw her as just nice, but Krista saw her as a threat. A rumor started that Colleen was flirting with Tadarrell. It probably wasn't even true. But in Krista's mind, it became betrayal. And on January 12th, Krista decided to do something about it. Krista approached Colleen with a smile. "Let's go smoke. Just us," she said. So the 3 of them walked away from the dorms. Krista, Tadarrell, and Colleen. They followed the railroad tracks toward the steam plant's woods. Another student, Shadala Peterson, followed behind. She didn't know what was about to happen. At first, everything seemed calm. Then Krista's tone changed. She started accusing Colleen. Colleen protested, confused, scared. Tadarrell stayed silent. That's when Krista pulled out the box cutter. What happened next lasted 30 to 60 minutes. It wasn't a fight. It was torture. Krista slashed Colleen's arms, her chest. She carved a pentagram into her skin. When Colleen begged to go home, promised she wouldn't tell anyone, Krista laughed and hit her again. Tadarrell joined in. Colleen tried to run. She stumbled through the trees, but they kept coming. Finally, Krista picked up a chunk of asphalt and brought it down on Colleen's head. Once, twice, until everything went quiet. Then Krista knelt down beside the body and did something that would shock even the detectives who'd seen it all. For 2 days, nobody noticed Colleen was missing, but Krista wasn't hiding what she'd done. She was bragging about it. She told other students, laughed about it, and then she pulled something from her jacket pocket, a small piece of bone. "See this?" she said. "That's part of her." The next morning, a groundskeeper found Colleen's body. When police arrived, they were horrified. The victim had been beaten, mutilated, marked with a pentagram. Once they started asking questions at Job Corps, the truth poured out. Students told them about Krista's bragging, about the piece of skull. That night, police arrested Krista and Tadarrell in their dorm rooms. In Krista's jacket pocket, they found it, the fragment of skull she'd taken as a trophy. During questioning, something disturbed the detectives even more than the evidence. It was the way Krista acted. She seemed excited to talk. She smiled as she described what happened. She even acted it out for them. One detective later said,
"It's all about it," but she was giddy. It was a happy thing for her. It was the greatest thing ever, and I've never seen anybody else like that, like her, actually.
In March 1996, the courtroom was packed. Prosecutors laid out their case: the lure to the woods, the box cutter, the pentagram, the skull fragment. This wasn't rage, they argued. This was premeditated murder. The defense talked about Krista's childhood, the beatings, the abuse, the neglect. Doctors testified she had bipolar disorder, PTSD, brain damage. But the defense lasted less than 30 minutes. The jury didn't take long. Guilty of first-degree murder. The sentence, death by electrocution. Tatterell Shipp was 17, too young for the death penalty. He got life with possible parole. Shadala Peterson got probation. 1 year made all the difference. 17 versus 18. Life versus death. Krista Pike became the youngest woman sentenced to death row in modern America. But her story didn't end there. For 28 years, Krista Pike lived in a concrete cell, 12 feet long, 7 feet wide. The only woman on death row in Tennessee. No cellmate, no touch, just fluorescent lights and her own thoughts echoing back. Prison records show she hurt herself repeatedly, cut her arms, tried to take her own life. Guards said she started talking to voices that weren't there. In 2001, she attacked another inmate with a shoelace, trying to strangle her. Her lawyers kept fighting, filing appeals. They argued she'd been too young, too mentally ill, that her brain wasn't fully developed. But every court said no. Then in 2024, a federal settlement ruled that nearly 3 decades of isolation was cruel and unusual punishment. For the first time since 1996, Krista was allowed to eat meals with other people, to step outside without chains. After 28 years of silence, she finally heard other voices again. But in 2025, Tennessee Supreme Court issued an execution warrant. The date? September 30th, 2026. If that execution happens, Krista will be the first woman executed in Tennessee in over 200 years. Colleen's mother wants justice. "My daughter never got a second chance," she said. Krista's lawyers say 28 years in a cell is punishment enough. They say her brain wasn't fully developed at 18, that if she'd been born 1 year later, she'd be alive. Over 200 women in Tennessee have been convicted of murder in the past 50 years. Only one was sentenced to die. 2 girls walked into those woods. One life ended in 30 minutes. The other has been ending for 28 years. The execution date is set for September 30th, 2026. But here's what nobody can answer. Are we punishing the girl who killed, or the woman she became in that cell? After 28 years locked away, is that justice? Or only when she's dead?